Hello students, I am Dr. P.S. Kaushik, Principal at Sri Digambar Institute of Technology, Dausa, Rajasthan. This is my sixth lecture on the subject engineering mechanics. This subject belongs to the civil and mechanical engineering in third semester. Let us now know what we have learned in the last lecture. In the last lecture, we learned equilibrium, resultant, equilibrant. Then we learned parallelogram law of forces. Then static equilibrium, dynamic equilibrium. We solved an example for finding out the resultant. Then the expression for equilibrant and the conditions of equilibrium were also established. Now, equilibrium is a state when the body is at rest or in uniform motion, when a system of forces is acting on it. The resultant is the one single force which can replace a system of forces such that the effect of that resultant force is same as was the sum of the effect of number of forces of that system of forces. The equilibrant of a system of forces is reverse of resultant, means it is of the same magnitude as that of resultant. It is following the same line of action, but orientation or direction is just opposite of the resultant. It may be acting anywhere on the line of action. That is not necessary that it should act at the same point, since the body we considered as rigid. Now, to define these three conditions, that is equilibrium, resultant and equilibrant, we took help of the parallelogram law of forces. It states that when two coplanar and concurrent forces are acting on a body, then their resultant will be equal to the diagonal of the parallelogram so formed by these two forces being consecutive arms of the parallelogram, and that diagonal is passing through the point of concurrency. So, again, if there are two forces P and Q acting on a rigid body, and then these are coplanar and these are also concurrent. If we draw a parallelogram on a scale by taking the magnitudes of these two forces and directions, then the parallelogram so formed, then the diagonal which is passing through the point of concurrency will represent the resultant of these two forces. The static equilibrium, when the body is at rest and the system of forces is acting and body is said to be in static equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium, I gave an example of an aeroplane flying at an altitude with constant velocity. Then in that condition, drag is equal to thrust and the weight is equal to lift. Then we solved a problem to find out the resultant, and then the expression for equilibrant and the condition of equilibrium was drawn taking the help of parallelogram law of forces. Now let us take an example, that is find the magnitude of the two forces such that if they act at right angle, their resultant is under root 10 Newton, but if they act at 60 degree, their resultant is under root 13 Newton. So we can take two cases one by one. First case, when these two forces are at F1 and F2 are at right angle to each other. Then apply the parallelogram law of forces, that gives R equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Here F1 and F2 are perpendicular to each other, then that cos theta means cos 90 means 0, then R equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square. It means tan equal to F1 square plus F2 square. Case second, when the angle between the two forces is 60 degree, then the resultant force R means under root R equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta, cos 60 degree here in this case. So putting the value, we find F1 13 equal to F1 square and F2 square of 2 F1 F2 cos 0.5, that is cos 60 equal to 0.5, then F1 F2 equal to 13 minus 10 is equal to 3. We know that F1 square plus F2 square is equal to 10, then F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 equal to 10 plus 2 into 3, that is 16. Similarly, F1 minus F2 का whole square, that is F1 square plus F2 square minus 2 F1 F2, that is 10 minus 6, 14, that is 4. Then we can solve these two equations, third and fourth, we find that F1 equal to 3 Newton and F2 equal to 1 Newton. That's it. From the subject point of view, following force system will be studied and analyzed. That is coplanar concurrent force system and coplanar non-concurrent force system. Now coplanar concurrent force system. In this, the composition and resolution of forces will be done. Now coplanar concurrent force system, the composition and resolution of forces. Now comes the composition. What is composition? If we can just learn like this, that a music composer, what he does, he generates or creates a music with the use of various instruments. A team of members play different music instruments, and the composer just directs them and they generate a good music which we enjoy. Here we can say like this, the composition means when a system of forces is acting, the phenomena or way to find out the resultant of that these force system or number of forces, we can say it is composition. Means composition means finding out the resultant of a force system, such that these four characteristics of that resultant must be clearly defined. What are these? That is magnitude, line of action, point of application, and direction. So composition means finding out the resultant of the force system. For example, we have already studied the parallelogram law of forces. There are two forces P and Q acting on a rigid body, which are coplanar and concurrent. So parallelogram law of forces, the resultant is given by under root of P1 square plus P2 square plus 2 PQ cos theta. Here, this parallelogram forces is the method of composition of forces. But here force system constitutes only two forces. Now resolution. The resolution is the process of dividing a force into its components. That is, a single force is divided into two or more components forces such as their net effect on the body is same as was of that single force. Okay. Now let us talk a layman language, how it can be understood. Resolution. When there is a crisis between say number of people, we say that there is somebody goes and resolve it. Means resolve the crisis means just separate the different identities, so that the resultant crisis which was created, that is being suppressed out. So resolution means just finding number of components of a single force. For that single force, we can say the resultant is subdivided into its components, and this method is called resolution. Methods for finding resultant. Though there are many methods for finding out the resultant force of a number of given forces, yet the following are important from the subject point of view. That is analytical methods and method of resolution. Analytical method for resultant force. The resultant force of a given coplanar concurrent system of forces may be found out analytically by the following method. There is parallelogram law of forces, method of resolution, and one more method is the graphical method, that is not analytical basically, but I have mentioned here. When the coplanar concurrent force system constitutes a pair of forces, then the parallelogram law of force can be applied as explained in the last lecture. In case when the force system constitutes more than two forces, the best way is the method of resolution as explained in the next slide. The method of resolution: resolve all the forces along the x-axis, say horizontally, and along the y-axis, say vertically, and then make a sum of horizontal forces and vertical forces, and then apply the Pythagoras theorem. It will be then you will find the resultant. The angle will be found out by tan theta is equal to summation v upon summation h. Okay, let us go these four steps through one by one. Resolve the forces horizontally and find algebraic sum of entire horizontal components, that is summation h. Already told you. The resolve all forces vertically and find the algebraic sum of all vertical components, that is summation v. The resultant R is given of the given forces will be given by the equations R square equal to summation h square plus summation v square. Okay. The resultant force will be inclined at an angle theta with the horizontal, that is x axis, then tan theta is given by summation v upon summation h. Now Sign convention, there are 4 quadrants, that is this is first quadrant 0 to 90, then second quadrant 90 to 180, third quadrant 180 to 270, and the fourth quadrant 270 to 0 or 360 degree. Here the angle theta will vary depending upon the value of summation v and summation h as discussed below. When summation v is positive, vertical positive means this is above this 0 line, origin is that is above origin. It means the summation v will be positive between 0 degree to 180 degree. This area it will be positive. Below it will be negative. Similarly, the horizontal summation will be positive in this area, and in this line it will be negative. So we should keep in mind. So when summation v is positive, the resultant makes an angle between 0 to 180 degree. But when summation v is negative, the result will make the angle between 180 to 360. Here, this. When summation h is positive, the resultant makes an angle between 270 and 90. Here, somewhere here. But when summation h is negative, the resultant makes an angle between 90 degree to 270 degree in this area. Let us again work out an example. Example 3, a triangle ABC has its side AB 40 mm along with positive x-axis and BC 30 mm along with the positive y-axis. 3 forces of 40 Newton, 50 Newton and 30 Newton act along the sides of AB, BC and CA respectively. Determine the magnitude of the resultant of such a system of forces. The solution, since both are positive, it means the origin is somewhere here, this side positive, this side positive. You can say it is somewhere like this. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. The system of given forces is shown in figure below. From the geometry of the figure, we find that the triangle ABC is right angle triangle in which the sides AC is 50 mm. This is 40, this is 30 mm. Then sin theta 30 upon 50, that is 0.6, and cos theta 40 upon 50, that is 0.8. This is base, this is altitude. Then and now resolving all the forces vertically along the, first resolve horizontally, that is summation h equal to 40 minus 30 cos theta, that is 40 minus 30 into 0.8, that is 16 Newton. Now resolve the forces vertically, summation v equal to 50, this 50, and this force will have components like this. This is horizontal negative component, and this is horizontal, that is vertical negative component. Okay. So this is cos, so this is cos, this is theta, this is theta. It means this will be साइन कंपोनेंट, दिस विल बी कोस कंपोनेंट, वही यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है, देखो समेशन इज 40 माइनस 30 कोस थीटा, दिस इज कोस कंपोनेंट, दिस इज साइन कंपोनेंट, दैट इज 40 माइनस 50 माइनस 30 साइन थीटा. नाउ वी नो दैट मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द रिजल्टेंट फोर्सेज आर इक्वल टू समेशन एच स्क्वायर प्लस समेशन वी स्क्वायर का अंडर रूट, दैट इज अंडर रूट 16 square plus 32 square, that is 35.8 newtons. Take another example. This is a hexagon which is being whose diagonals are acted upon by the number of forces, that is 20 Newton, 30 Newton, 40 Newton. Newton and 60 Newton are acting at one of the angular point of a regular hexagon towards other 5 angular points. Taken in order, find the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. So, refer figure here. Just count the angle successively. For 30 Newton force, for 20 Newton force, angle is 0. So next for 30 Newton it is 30, for 40 Newton it is 60, then it is for 90, for the this is 90 for the 50 Newton, and for the 60 Newton it is 120 total. So summation h, horizontal components, resolve them, that is 20 cos 0, 30 cos 30, 40 cos 60, 50 cos 90, 60 cos 120. Just go on entering these data of cos components into your calculator and go on multiply with the multiple, that is 20, 30, 40. You will get the value as shown in this slide. The result time will be 36.0 Newton. Similarly, resolving the all forces vertically, that is summation v equal to 20 sin 0, 30 sin 30, 40 sin 60, 50 sin 90, 60 sin 120. Then it will be coming out 151.6 Newton. That is equation second. You know, resultant will be, we know that the magnitude of the resultant force R equal to summation h square summation v square, that is under root of 36 square plus 151.6 square, that is 155.8 Newton. Now, the angle through which this the resultant makes with the horizontal is to be found out. For that, tan theta equal to summation v upon summation h, or it comes out to be 151.6 upon 36. It means tan inverse 151.6 upon (36). It will be equal to 76.6. Now note, since both the values of summation h and summation v are positive, therefore the actual angle of resultant force lies in first quadrant between 0 to 90 degree, making an angle of 76.6 degree with the positive horizontal axis. Okay, thanks for watching this video lecture. You can give your feedback at drpskaushik@gmail.com for any improvement. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.